our updates are going to be in real time on Instagram. So this is the first time we've ever done it. Usually they're delayed quite a bit. New embryos, new us. Hey again.
Hi.
We are back to talk about our big news, our big announcements. If you haven't seen it already, we have
adopted embryos.
Yeah, so we finally gotten to this point where we are now moms of 5 snowflakes.
Yes. We adopted them this summer. We've been going through all the process, so the paperwork and all of that. And so we made the announcement when they were officially ours and in our possession, and you know, we get to use them however we want now. So it's exciting. But we kind of wanted to answer a lot of questions we've gotten about how we went about this. So we're just going to give you a brief overview of, you know, bird's eye view of our process. And then I think we will probably, if there's a lot of questions, we'll do a video answering the questions to the best of our ability.
If you have questions, put some questions down below or head over to our Instagram and send us a DM with your questions.
Yeah.
We'll also be putting up stories to ask for questions. If you are not following us on Instagram, you need to go do that.
That's where all of our news hits first. This is going to be more delayed on YouTube just because that's life.
Yeah. But all of our updates are going to be in real time on Instagram. So this is the first time we've ever done it. Usually they're delayed quite a bit, just for privacy purposes and just allowing ourselves to process. But new embryos, new us.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do everything in real time and let everyone follow along on our journey as it happens.
Yeah. So make sure you're following us on Instagram as well, and following us here. Hit like, subscribe.
So this actually started during our last transfer.
Hold on, rewind.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong.
Yeah. So when we moved from Chicago to our new fertility office, our new fertility doctor at our very first appointment said, have you considered using donated eggs for embryos? And this was a year ago now. And we were like, ooh, no, I don't know about this, doctor. We do not feel ready for that. We're not there.
Yeah, I was a little offended. And I feel like now I realize that that's probably a pretty normal response.
Yeah.
Because I've like talked to other people and they're like, yeah, I'm not ready. And that's fine. We were not ready a year ago. It was like almost exactly a year ago, actually.
It really was.
Yeah, and I was a little offended. I told Sam, like, I'm not sure about this doctor. She already thinks that we're so infertile we can't have a baby.
I mean, other than that, we really liked her.
Yes.
We still really like
And
her.
we do. We love her.
Yeah.
So it was just that little moment. I was like, ugh, don't bring it up.
Like, you
We're
haven't
not
even
ready.
tried to use our ovaries yet. Let's try to use our ovaries and our eggs before you give up, because you haven't. Looking back, she was right.
She was right. Yeah. Yeah.
So now you can fast forward to when you were going to start.
Okay, so fast forward to my last IVF cycle, which we just posted a couple of weeks ago. If you
That was
haven't
a few
watched
months
that,
ago now.
go back and watch that. I think it's pretty good. It explains a lot of what we've gone through and kind of our last ditch effort in like really trying to do the whole IVF thing.
Yeah.
And then just kind of realizing that if it doesn't work, we need to have some options. So we started talking about what will we do if this doesn't work. And
What does plan B, C, D, E, F look like? Because I keep joking that we're on plan like R and S and T now, because we've been at it for so long and we keep trying different things and another backup plan and another backup plan. And so I said we have to have multiple backup plans here because our initial plans don't work. They just don't. That's just how it works for us. And we've accepted that.
Yeah.
So we just keep planning. We just keep making backup plan after backup plan.
I have to applaud us. We've been very flexible.
But now we're on to this plan, which is embryo adoption. We were waiting, we were in our 2-week wait for Jill's last IVF cycle. And I think we both had a pretty good feeling it didn't work.
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I really had hoped that it would work, but I kind of felt like it never works. So why would this time be any different? And I was right. So looking back,
But we're not going to think that way going forward.
no, we're not. But we did have to kind of come to terms with the fact that we need to have other options, because with low AMH and diminished ovarian reserve, going through IVF just does not guarantee anything at all. So yeah, we just kind of had that discussion, and I think at the end of that video, the last IVF cycle, you can hear us talk about we already have a plan. This is the plan. This is what we had been talking about for a little while.
So it was interesting. It was, I think through that process, I had come to terms with the fact that we were going to probably need to use an egg or embryo donor. And so I started, accepting that in my head and my heart and getting to that point of being okay with it. I got there a little quicker than you did. And that's probably because she was the one going through it at that moment. We tried, you guys remember, I tried to do IVF just before that. That didn't work. So I think I had kind of accepted it at that point, which was a couple months before that. But we had a conversation coming home from a friend's house or something like that. And I said, we have to be in agreement. We're not going to do anything if we're not on the same page. And just because I was there, I didn't want to rush you.
Yeah, I kind of just allowed it to be like, yeah, fine, like, I guess that's what we'll have to do. If we have to do that, that's what we'll have to do. And
that's not a yes to me.
I know. So, and now looking back, I realized that wasn't necessarily helpful. But like we talked about, I'm not always positive. But Sam did push me to like really dig deep and say, am I going to be okay? It is animal kingdom in here right now.
God.
Our cats, our dog, they cannot let us do this.
Yeah.
But that's okay. This is so annoying.
Should we put him outside?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, come here.
So we've always firmly believed that the children we have are going to be the children we were always meant to have. The family we have was always the way it was going to be. We both really, truly do believe that and always have. I think you just have to get to a point where you realize what you're doing is not the way you're going to get there. And we had to do that each individually, on our own, and then come back together. So I got there a little quicker than Jill, but that's okay, because when I challenged her with that, I said, really, you need to really find out what's like in your heart, what you really feel. She came back we'd been talking about it for a while, and then she kept saying, okay, I'm fine, it's fine, we can do it. And I kept saying, no, that's not an answer. We have to be good. We both have to be good about it. And I said, just take as much time as you need and let me know where you feel and we'll discuss it. And the next day she woke up and she's like, okay, I've had a dream, I've had a feeling, I had
a light bulb go off.
Yeah.
And I just realized that like we are waiting for the children that we're always meant to have. And we keep trying the things that are not gonna get us to those children. And what we need to do, instead of continuing to try these things that don't work, we need to pivot and start doing the things that will work, and the things that will start our family, and just realize that our family is not going to look the way that I expected it to, but nobody ever gets to decide
exactly how their life is gonna look.
what everything looks like. You just don't know.
I mean, and if you do, you're very lucky, because that's not been the experience of most of the people we know, or our experience.
And I think plenty of people just assume that everything will happen traditionally like it does for a lot of other people, and that's fine if it does, and that's great.
Lucky.
But there's nothing wrong with things working out differently for other families, and now that we've done this, I like actually am so excited about it. Like,
We're so excited.
It feels so right. And it feels
Yeah.
like special and different and unique.
And like it was always supposed to feel for us.
Yeah. And so I'm just like getting choked up. I'm just so like grateful that this is how we ended up doing things.
And like, so hopeful that it does work.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
really grateful that we have this opportunity.
We got a message from somebody, I believe, who subscribes to our channel.
Follows us on Facebook.
Follows us on Facebook, and she messaged us and said, hey, I don't know if you're at this point yet. I don't want to offend you, but have you considered embryo adoption?
And we said we're not the type to get offended by that, although we were, because we did get offended by our doctor last year, but we weren't at that point anymore.
Yeah.
And we also would never have said that. So we're always grateful for people to come with ideas for things, you know?
Yeah.
Except for just relax, because that one's not helpful.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. But yeah, so she messaged us and said, if you're interested, I have this platform. And we want to keep that private because it is like a group that people use to match donors with recipients. But if you are in need or you want to look into embryo adoption, we will certainly
You can message us. And we'll
give that
privately,
information for you because I believe
just-
that it's really a helpful thing.
Yeah, we're just not going to publish it on
Yeah.
YouTube or on Instagram. So it would be something, if you want to message us privately, that's something we can share with you. If you'd like more information on where we've looked, we did a lot of research. When our doctor suggested it last year, even though I was like, oh, how dare you? I looked into it. Of course.
Of course.
And so we looked at I've talked to people who've done it, and I've gotten suggestions, and there's websites, there's organizations, some are really religious, some are not. A lot of fertility clinics offer it. I've looked into all of those options, what goes into each one, costs, time, interviews, all sorts of things. And what this particular person suggested to us was kind of everything we've been waiting for and exactly what we were looking for.
We had no idea. Yeah, we had no idea, and this was exactly what we needed. So
it was like a miracle.
Seriously, like it was, and
Yeah.
like I said before, I struggle with my spirituality, and I was like, wow, that's some timing.
It was the craziest timing ever. I mean, literally the same day that Jill was finally like, okay, I'm good with it, is when we got this message. And I think it was that day or the next day that we kind of like were all in and signed up.
We were like, yes, please, because she didn't want to just put that name out there either. She was like, let me know. And we immediately were like, yes, please. Like, we would love to look into it. I'm sure it's a process, so we would love to just browse and see if that's something. Because a lot of organizations it's just a lengthy process.
A lot of them are really religious and really not sure about or anti-LGBTQ families, and obviously that's not going to work for us. So that was something, some of them are incredibly expensive, or some of them are lengthy interviews and all the steps that go into it. And
home visits and everything.
And you just have to find what feels comfortable and what feels right. So we obviously had done our research, and when we came across this, we're like, wow, this is amazing. It was what we had been looking for, like I said, and we didn't realize. So that's where we, decided to put our energy into finding, the right match for us.
This group that we became part of, it's more of just like a place for donors and recipients to match on their own. There's no matching that, there's no service. There's no, like, you have to be accepted to, an application or anything. No, it's simply giving a platform for donor families and recipients to meet and get to know each other, and then you just kind of do it on your own, and you just decide if it's right.
We've got really wonderful people in our lives who were able to help us and guide us through, so it was a legal transaction, which Oddly enough, embryos are treated.
Thank you. Thank you for the kisses.
Embryos are treated as property. So you will do an embryo adoption, donation. Also works for a term.
Yeah, it's technically a donation because we didn't pay for them. This donor family was kind enough to give the donation and allow us to legally adopt their property.
Exactly. So like legally take possession of their property.
Yeah.
Is I think how it legally works. There was a lot of legal stuff to do, contracts and waivers and authorizations and all that stuff. So that took a little while. But again, we have some really amazing people in our lives who helped with that process. So it made it a little bit less daunting for us. And again, if you're in the process, if you are thinking about it and you've got questions, we are very happy to answer and help in any way we can, even if it's just sharing knowledge.
I think this is a really important thing to talk about, especially because I've not seen a lot of LGBT families sharing such infertility. I know that it's definitely out there, and we definitely do see it on YouTube or Instagram. We follow quite a few families that are, going through the process of having children. But something that I have not seen yet is LGBT embryo adoption as much, and it definitely exists. And it's definitely, I think, more of a challenge because of a lot of the organizations that are more religious and will not donate or adopt out to LGBT families. So I think that was something that we always felt like would be a hurdle
to overcome.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like if we didn't find just the right place, or we didn't adopt embryos through our fertility clinic, that it wasn't an option. I've been told by a lot of people, if your fertility clinic offers a program, it is the best, most economical, efficient, effective, quickest, all of that way to do it. Because they've done all of the work, they know the quality of the embryos, they know the families are done with them, they've done the legal work, they've done they've done everything, right? Our fertility clinic has a program, and it is amazing that they have that.
Yeah.
And we looked at the options they had, but it didn't feel right to us. And that was part of, I think, your struggle with accepting it.
Yeah, my biggest struggle, I think, was that it was a closed adoption. Yeah. We would never know the families that these embryos came from through our clinic, and we would never be able to give our children any information. We just felt like you're not taking the decision away from a child, you're taking the decision away from an 18-year-old adult. Yeah. Our future children will be adults at some point, and they should be able to make adult decisions. And if we choose a closed donor, that decision is gone.
It's taken away from them.
So that was something that we've always kind of felt strongly about. And so then when looking at the program through our clinic, that just wasn't an option. There was no way to have it open. So I could not even allow myself to feel at ease with adopting through our clinic because that just didn't align with our values as far as donors go.
We were trying to get ourselves okay with that, if that had to be an option. I'm just grateful that we came up with something else. It feels like we've given up a lot throughout the process of how we thought it would go, what we thought we would do, the donor we would use, our own genetics, all of those things, which we're really good with, but it is really nice to still be able to stick to some of the things that we had originally laid out as were important to us.
The donor family is amazing.
Yes.
I feel like we could be friends with them.
Jill does a lot more of the YouTube editing and all of that.
I'm the social media queen.
She is our social media. I mean, in real life, as you saw in the last video, I'm inept with a lot of social media. She and I agreed that I would take the lead on the embryo adoption as we were just getting into it. So, we went through the process and we ended up matching with the family, and I started speaking with, one of the donors, and it just felt so right immediately. And it felt like we could be old friends. And
Hey, so you're not making this easy.
no, you're not. It's her witching hour.
Go get it.
Go on.
Good girl.
So it just felt right. It felt like this is what I wanted it to feel like. And I was like getting emotional about it at the time because I was like, I can't believe that this has happened.
Let's talk about our timeline real quick. So we found out about the platform. We made a little like profile. You just kind of write about yourself and you can share pictures. So we did a little collage and then told our story. So that was like the same day. We thought we'll spend a little time on it.
One day later.
One day, yeah. We posted. I said, because Sam was gonna take the lead on it, I was like, you post it, you follow, anybody responding.
Go get it.
So within a day we did that. Within 7 days later, we had matched.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, 1 week. That's how quickly we found
And then
the perfect donor family.
We were talking to them, and I think they felt it was right, and we felt it was right really quickly. And we were like holding our breath. Like,
Oh yeah.
could this really be happening this easily and feel this right? And like, is this real life?
It felt insane.
And then the process of the legal stuff all was a lot quicker and more smooth than we expected.
Yeah. So I want to give a little shout out. First of all, our donor family is amazing.
Yeah.
And we are going to keep privacy for them, of course, because this is our journey and they didn't
sign up for
They didn't sign up for this, but
They're
they do
amazing.
respect and support our social
Yes,
media.
and also amazing human beings to give the gift that they've given. So we're super grateful.
Yeah.
And
So a big
excited.
thank you to them.
Yes.
A big thank you to my best friend Dana. She did say that we could share her name, so we want to appreciate her for helping us with the legal.
We wouldn't be here without her.
Yes, she is an attorney and she is amazing. And she really did us a
She's
solid.
The most amazing human being. So Dana, thank you so
Yes,
much.
you're gonna be a great auntie to our kids.
Yes.
And your uncle, he did some amazing work
Yes.
for us.
Yep.
To help us get everything in order and signed and ready to go.
So
like
thank you to everyone.
Yes, like we have had a really supportive.
Especially in the time we're in right now with COVID. It's a lot harder if you don't have amazing people in your life who can help you out. It takes a lot. Everything's a lot more difficult. Everything takes a lot more time. And that was part of the swiftness of this. Was we were worried. We weren't sure if the states were going to shut down again. It was kind of just as things were starting to surge again in some states, and we wanted to get it done. And the donor family felt the same way. They wanted to get the embryos into our possession. So we could choose what we did with them, and we were not stuck for another, 6 months or something, because COVID has kind of taken over the world and has, as a lot of you know, stopped fertility in its tracks. So that was amazing. There was a sense of urgency for all of it, but it wasn't like a chaos. It was a calm and like, let's just swiftly get through the steps in order to...
Each day was like working toward one of the steps. At this point, our embryos are at our clinic. They were shipped rather quickly. Like, honestly, it's amazing because I just thought this was going to be a long process.
And there's been some waiting, and we've been a little antsy. I've been antsy.
Yeah.
But it's because I feel like I know the steps that need to happen, and I just want to do them and move on and do what's next. Do a transfer.
Yeah.
Get the embryos in our possession, and then do a transfer, and then finally get pregnant, hopefully, and have a baby. And so
Yeah. So all in all, it was a very quick process, and I know not everybody's experience is like this with embryo adoption.
It was, I would say, a perfect storm for us, for everything that worked out the way it did. There were so many factors that went into it that we won't go into more detail on here, but
I almost got taken out.
Good. But if it weren't for that, we wouldn't be here. at this point just yet. So we're really lucky.
Yeah.
Our battery's dying.
Our battery is dying. So let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Subscribe if you have not. If you have questions about embryo adoption, we would love to make another
Yes.
video on this, and we will definitely go in more detail about the things that people are interested in.
Ask us any questions you have.
Yeah.
If we don't feel comfortable answering them on YouTube, we can direct message you
Yeah.
on any
But
platform.
we
And-
definitely would like to give more information, especially because LGBT infertility is just not as
Pretty
talked
rare to
about.
be a lesbian couple and be this infertile where you need to use donor anything. And we've met people through this process that are in the same boat, but we all feel pretty alone. So, you know,
Yep.
it's just, it's more rare.
I'm gonna get beat up.
Yeah,
So, anyways, thanks for talking with us. Thanks for hanging with us, and we are so glad you're with us on this journey. It's gonna get interesting because we're gonna do a transfer in hopefully a month.
I guess we'll see.
All right, subscribe, hit the notification, go over to Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and follow us. And good night.
Have a great weekend.
You're gonna hit me. You're gonna hit me.